All right, Chris Popper here in Bangor. I'm joined by Coach Mark Shields from in Bar Harbor. And Coach, eh, I know that obviously defending state 8-man large school champ, and we could talk about that for maybe another weekend and stuff. But I'm sure you probably want the boys to put that behind them, or definitely not live on their laurels because everyone's gunning for MDI now.
Right, Chris. So we had our summer session. We had practices every Wednesday night up until the beginning of August. And the very first night of practice, I pulled the boys in and basically had that exact conversation with them. Said, guys, last year was a phenomenal season. It was a magical season. It's something, we'll never forget. But now it's time to put that gold ball in the trophy case and leave it there because this is a brand new season, a brand new team. And you're right. When, we've never been here before as a state champion, but when you're the ones that win the state championship, then yeah, every team that you face is going to be pretty excited to try to beat you. And so we're excited about that opportunity. And you're right. It's time to turn the page and move on to the 2024 season.
Monday starts the beginning of double sessions, and uh, I was telling people that God, my tradition is to come down there and be there at 6 o'clock in the morning um, for the start of double sessions, and I don't know how I started that tradition. It's a terrible tradition, but the older we get, the harder it seems to do and start the season.
Yeah, I don't know why you ever decided to do that, but once again, you and I think we started this back in 2006, and I think my hair might have been a little darker, and yours, or at
More,
least,
I had more.
yeah, there might have been a little bit more there on top. Um, but yeah, August 19th, 6 a.m., we have our first practice, and you're right. It's once again, it's hard to believe another summer is passed us by, and here we are getting ready for the football season. This week alone has been a busy week because I've already had 3 meetings this week. On Tuesday, we all the fall coaches met with Mr. Dow for his meeting. Wednesday night, I had my staff meeting, my football staff meeting right here on my deck. And then last night, meeting with the parents and the players. Saturday, we'll be handing out equipment. And then, yep, like you said, Monday, we get rolling at 6 a.m. in the morning.
It's as you said, it's a busy time. How have the numbers been? I mean, it's you lost a great senior class, and as I was talking to my wife the other day, as we came coming home from Funtown Splashtown, which is just fantastic. Um, I was saying, well, how old are ninth graders? And ninth graders are 13, 14-year olds. And you can't replace 17 and 18-year olders with 13 and 14-year olds. I mean, there's such a huge difference between seniors and freshmen um, that uh, it's great to have an incoming freshman class, but they can't take it's not like basketball where they can, possibly step up and fill the roles of a departing class. It just the physical difference between freshmen and seniors is so great. But that being said, what are the numbers looking like for this year?
Yep. So I think we're going to be right around 30 players again. We've been at 30, right around 30 the last 2 seasons. And honestly, 30 is a great number for 8-man football. It allows us to have a full JV team and they can have a full schedule. And then it allows us, obviously, to field a competitive varsity team. So 30 is a good number for that. And you're right. Yeah. I mean, we graduated some phenomenal football players, and that's life in high school and college athletics, right? Your seniors leave and you have a new class step in, and it's always exciting to see the new class coming in to see you have for potential football players. And we are really excited about our incoming freshman class. I think we're going to have decent numbers with that class. And they've been together for a long time playing in our AYS program, and they've been pretty successful. And it's one of the larger classes as far as just stature-wise. We have some good-sized kids and some guys that you can tell are pretty strong, and so we're excited about that. But you're right, to put a ninth grader in with 11th graders and 12th graders usually doesn't happen in football. Like you said, like other sports, I mean, who knows? We'll see how the season progresses. But yeah, it's a different team, and honestly, as a coach, it's really exciting sometimes to start fresh and see where this team can go.
Last year you had a Spencer Lorendo, who was the quarterback and had been the quarterback for, I think, 3 or 4 years. What are your plans for this year? Although, I mean, obviously, everybody's got to earn their spot in camp.
Right. So this summer we've repped like 3 or 4 kids. We have a couple of freshman kids that we ended up repping at the varsity level. Alistair Frangelo, he's a sophomore, and Cal Hodgson had been repping with the older kids. So we're thinking it's going to be possibly one of those 2 guys. But like you said, I mean, you don't really know until the season starts and see how things go. But right now we do have a couple of guys that are excited about stepping into that role, and we're really happy that we might have a little depth at that position.
Right. You've also had a changeover in your staff as well.
Right. So we lost Mark Arnold and Nick Grant, and Nick is he's done for good. He was just a phenomenal assistant coach for me for the last couple of years. I've always said he was the first guy on the practice field and the last one off, and he was that guy. And then Mark Arnold, who was a full-time staff member, stepped down. The nice thing is Mark's still going to help me with some of our film exchange and our filming and our huddle program that we use to exchange tape. And knowing Mark,
let's be honest. We spent 20 minutes trying to get this interview set up. So, I mean, it's a good thing that Mark's doing that.
Right. The whole time I'm trying to mess around with this, I'm thinking, where's Mark Arnold?
Right.
Right. So Mark is going to help with that, which I was super pleased about, because with all my other responsibilities and me being, as you know, a low-tech person, that was going to be a difficulty for me. So he's going to help with that. So we picked up a couple younger coaches. One guy's name is Will Mossing. Will, I think he's 29 or 30. He's from the Belfast area. Now he lives on Mount Desert Island. He teaches down to Connors Emerson, so we're excited to have him. And then Elias Byrne works for the Bar Harbor PD, and he was a guy that played for me back in the day, as you remember.
Forever ago, yeah.
Yep. And he's been helping out with our AYS program, and he's excited to finally make his way up to the high school level, and so we're super excited to have them. And then the guys coming back, we have Chris James coming back, who's been with me for a while, and then Wayne Gray will be with me as well. So yeah, it's a different staff, but these guys they're all in. They're super excited. I love the energy of those 2 younger coaches, Elias and Will. Sometimes it makes me feel really old when I hear about how excited they are about things, and I'm like, guys, our summer is going to end here in a few more days, right? Coach, we're so excited. I'm like, yeah, I know, I am too, but just so you know, your life's going to change quickly.
Right. Who's going to call the plays up in the booth?
So that is another change. So Coach Shields has been running the defense for the last 2 years while we've been in 8-man. As you remember, back in the day, actually last 3 years, back in the day, I called the offense when we were in 11-man, and this year I'm going to be calling both. So it's going to be a pretty hectic season for me, more responsibility, just what I need in my life.
Right.
But I've designed it's a similar offense to what Mark Arnold has been running, but there are some differences for sure. But I'll be doing both offense and defense this year.
Are you going to have a spotter in the booth, or are you going drone, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so I'll have one of my assistants, Will Mossing, right now. I'm thinking is the guy. I talked to him the other night, and he was excited about it. And he seems to be a guy that really enjoys breaking down film. So I've been really pleased about that over the summer. He's broken down a lot of the games that we had last year and our opponents. So I think he might have the kind of mind that's going to be really good for that.
Excellent. Well, we just have to work, remind them that in some of these booths we're in tight quarters, and you can't be using any words that might not want to be going on to the radio, because they go on the radio.
Right. Yes. Yeah, as we know, our Coach Arnold and Coach Braun sometimes could get a little excited up
Excited
there.
is right. Yes.
Let's go with that word, lack of a better term. But yes, I talked to Will about that 2 nights ago here for our coaches meeting. He said, when you're up there, I would expect you to get excited too and cheer and that sort of stuff. But a lot of the time, you really do need to stay calm up there, because you need to be really analyzing what's going on in the field and relay that information to the offense and defense. So,
yeah. Another change this year is the North and South. There's not it's all, there are 2 conferences. It's all one 8-man large school conference.
right. And I'm still kind of learning exactly what that means.
It means we're traveling a lot more.
Yeah, I don't think we are. Believe it or not, we are traveling a lot, as you tip. As we got to go back to Yarmouth.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the schedule before this interview, and I know we do have to go to Yarmouth. That'll be a bit of a ride.
Remember that game? That was the windy game where everything kept blowing, and that running back ran for 8 million yards. I mean,
yeah, McGonigal was pretty good, and I was the defensive coordinator that night, Chris. So thank you for reminding me of that. How terrible we were on defense. We were pretty good on offense. They couldn't stop us either, but
right?
That was a wild score. I think it was 50-46 or something crazy.
Yeah.
Like that. But anyway, but we will be on the road. But yeah, it is a little different this year. But honestly, for us, it's just one game at a time, and the other, let that stuff take care of itself.
The other thing too is I think last year a lot of the games started at 6, and the majority of the games this year are all going to start at 6, which is good for you and I, so that way we can get our beauty sleep. I mean,
yeah. And if anybody needs beauty sleep, it's definitely you and I.
Right.
I actually have loved that change. It's just, especially some of those long road trips, that can be a very late night anyway, even if you start at 6, but it just gets us off the field a little bit sooner, and, back with our families and back preparing for your next opponent. And so I enjoy that.
Well, I mean, it's hard to believe. So there's a scrimmage August 26th at Waterville at 11 o'clock. And then Friday, August 30th is a preseason game against Bucksport, which is at home. And then you start the season at home against the Gray New Gloucester Patriots on Friday, September 6th. So that's kind of nice, because school will have started for a week, whereas in previous years it's been like the first day of school has been the first football game.
Yeah, this season, you're absolutely right, Chris. This season is essentially a week later than what it typically would be. Instead,
Yeah.
I don't know if the MPA looked at it and said, well, maybe the 12th, I think that's the Monday, is too soon, but the 19th is definitely much later. And you're right. We're still going to be in the middle of our two-a-days, and our guys are going to be starting school. So there will be 2 days where they're going to have to come to a morning practice, have school, and then have the evening practice. Also, Coach Shields starts school, during the first week of preseason.
At least you won't be late to school.
No,
because you'll be here already.
Yeah. And I think I'll talk to Matt Haney, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I just miss a few meetings and whatnot. I mean, I am trying to win football game.
You are a veteran coach. You are a veteran teacher. How many times do you have to watch the bloodborne pathogen video? I mean,
Exactly,
let's be
exactly.
honest.
And I'm sure the other teachers won't mind if Mr. Shields isn't at some of those meetings. They won't keep track of that.
No. Why is he not at the meeting? And just that's when you bring out the gold. I mean the bling ring and just say,
Yeah,
"Do you have one of these?" All right, enough said.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure that will do it.
Yeah, that'll be great. It's how to win friends and influence people. That's it. They're
Right.
awesome. Yeah, so all right. Well, I want to thank you for your time. I know that, obviously you're going out to have lunch at the Travel and Lobster in Bar Harbor. And your father-in-law has been playing there all summer long, and great music and great food. We want to thank Ellis Robinson, who are going to sponsor the coaches show every week. And I guess we'll kind of look at it, figure out your what your schedule's like, because we want to do it, kind of have a Thursday, kind of like what we've done before, and then a post game talk to us about how the game went. But and one of the things too we've also talked about, you're the only one that does these coaches shows, and as we've known, there are other coaches that watch the coaches show to find out what MDI is planning on doing for their upcoming games. So we try and be somewhat vague on Thursdays and Fridays. Um,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we play dumb, and honestly, Chris, we're pretty good at that, I think. So, hey, can I
Exactly.
one more shout out, because guess whose anniversary it is tomorrow, the 17th?
Oh, how weird.
Mine.
Yes.
So,
Well, I mean, I called you last week while you were out having dinner with Holly, and I mean, it's like, yeah.
yeah.
So, okay, so why don't you, how many years have you been married?
Oh, you had to ask, right? I
Right.
believe it's 28 years
That's
tomorrow.
fantastic.
So, yeah. So, shout out to Holly, because, she's very excited about the upcoming football season to start, as you can imagine. So, yeah. Happy anniversary. I love you, honey. And just remember these words halfway through the season when you're mad at me. Okay.
And
Anyway,
when we're in November and you forgot to thank her for the year, yeah, that'll be good. Just
yeah. Thanks for
thank
bringing
her
that up.
now so we can replay this if necessary. Oh, we've done this way too long.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Coach. I will look forward to seeing you on Monday morning. And yeah, best of luck this season.
All right, Chris. Thanks so much.